Hi, my name is Kelly Clyer, and today I will be presenting to you on the topic of remote medical diagnoses. Today I will go over a background of the field of medical diagnostics, methods of traditional diagnosis, how we currently diagnose different diseases, as well as the future of remote medical diagnosis. I will also present to you a few questions for you to think about this week. Historically, medical diagnosis was simply having a physician come up with the correct analysis. The word diagnosis is derived from the Greek. In diagnostic medicine, there are various ways to detect a disease and to examine a patient because of suspicion with regards to a disorder. Techniques for diagnosis have become increasingly accurate as technology advances. Now, medical diagnosis is rapidly growing an extremely significant sector of the healthcare umbrella. Most careers that fall into this pathway do not involve day-to-day direct patient interaction. Instead, they involve the use of diagnostic imaging technology. With the evolution of technology, techniques in ultrasound, X-ray, and MRI are being used more readily. Each play a significant role in determining patients' diagnosis earlier than previously possible, thus making it much easier to determine what type of care a patient should receive far earlier than they were able to see before. The growth outlook for diagnostic careers is estimated at about 18%, while the estimated career for overall fields in that same span is about 10.12%. Therefore, you can see this is definitely a growing field. When researching the history of medical diagnostics, I found that the traditional physician had to be very perceptive and resourceful in using all five senses and whatever was at his or her disposal in diagnosing the disease and assessing the patient's condition. Above all, the first and most important method of diagnosis was taking a good medical history in the initial patient's intake process and then following up with one's careful observations of the patient and the disease as it developed and progressed. The practice of diagnosis in modern medicine, however, is very different. It has been radically altered by the advent of high technology. The modern physician relies heavily on technology and sophisticated machinery throughout the diagnostic process. These types of new technologies include EEGs, EKGs, diagnostic scanners and imaging equipment, and radiography and lab tests. Also, the modern medical environment tends to favor an exclusive reliance on quantitative data that can be numbered and measured as the only information that's really reliable and trustworthy. The qualitative data and observations used in more traditional forms of medical diagnosis tend to be discounted. As an undergraduate student, I worked at Wood Hudson Cancer Research Laboratory, located in Newport, Kentucky, conducting research on various types of cancer. I used many different techniques to analyze the genetic indicators in cells or on the slides I was looking at. I used immunohistochemistry, the polymerase chain reaction, also known as PCR, and DNA microarrays, as well as other techniques in order to understand a patient's diagnosis and see how much protein or kinase existed in some of the patient's cells. These techniques provided more definitive cancer detection, but they also have the potential to assess risk, determine a patient's prognosis, and also predict drug resistance on an individual basis. Now I would like to share 3 new remote medical diagnostic technologies that I think will be very interesting in the future. While there are others on the market, I really thought that these 3 stood out to me due to their ability to create a more proactive and efficient healthcare system in the future. The first remote medical diagnostic tool is the web-based stethoscope. The Zargus Telemed platform streams heart and lung sounds to anywhere in the world using a web-connected stethoscope. The sounds are transmitted in real time, either over the internet or a private network, allowing for remote medical diagnosis and expert analysis. The second new technology is pill alerts. Researchers at University of Florida have developed a prototype of an ingestible pill capsule containing a microchip and an antenna, which automatically alerts doctors or family members when it is ingested. After it is swallowed, the microchip in the pill transmits a signal to an external electronic device, which then alerts a cell phone or computer, informing the patient's doctor or family. The pill doesn't require a battery as it is powered by short bursts of low voltage charge sent by the external device. The third and last new technology that I found is called PIX. This is an intelligent body monitor that preemptively predicts heart failure. It is a wireless, water-resistant sensor that sticks to a patient's chest, monitoring heart rate, respiratory rate, bodily fluids, and overall activity. It transmits this data that is collected to a central server for analysis and review by both a doctor and the patient. The designers are working to generate algorithms currently that can analyze the data and predict when a patient is on the verge of heart failure by comparing trends in his or her vital signs against other cases. Below you will see 3 questions that I thought you may want to think about this week. The first one is, which of these 3 new remote medical diagnostics do you think would be the most successful in the future of medicine? Second, have you heard of any other types of remote medical devices on the market? And the third question is, do you think that patients will trust remote medical devices, or would they rather see their primary care physician? Thank you for listening to my presentation today. You will also find a list of my sources at the end of this PowerPoint. Thank you.